One of the biggest problems I see with men today is this belief that's been embedded, planted in their mind of a vision or an idealism of the past that does not exist. And I always have this conversation with guys. What you see is what you get. No point in fighting against the wave, because everything you try to, you're only going to give yourself an aneurysm. You're going to drive yourself into an early grave fighting against or pushing back against delusion or certain programming, as opposed to creating a life and being proactive and living a life on your own terms and following your own path and clearing your head or your mind or your brain of all of these things that are around you that you know are dysfunctional, but you have no control over. You have no control over that shit. You only could control you and your reaction and your response to the things you do. You can control your environment and the people around you. I don't even push back against delusion anymore. There's a time period where you try to correct or fix or whatever. You have no control over that, because the moment you try to fix something, you can tell me anything now. You could tell me that the earth is the perfect rectangle, an octagon. You could tell me that, and especially women could tell me anything. I won't push fight back against it. I say, yeah, for real? Wow. Oh, hey, you coming over tonight? I'll see you later. Oh, for what? I don't care about the politics, religion. All I care about is, does that person perform the function and purpose that's necessary? And they're out of my way. I don't challenge any of these ideas or ideology. And what you learn very quickly is that the moment you push back or get into conflict with somebody, they go to this wonderful thing called social media and Instagram, or they listen to their favorite content creator or their favorite horoscope person, or this empath person that they listen to all day long that reaffirms their delusion. And they look at you like you're a fool, like you're just this antagonist or this horrible primitive mind that is not open to clear thought and vision, and you're disconnect. You're Neanderthal. Your logic to them is Neanderthal thinking. And now you've stressed yourself out going back and forth with a creature that runs on feelings and emotions and absolute delusion. Now you all worked up and you've raised your cortisol level. And guess what? At the end of that rainbow, there's no outcome. And there's nothing gained, because delusion itself is on superpowers in 2026. You can't stop though. That's like going, out to the most roughest, rugged river or waterfall and think you're going to stop the waves. You can't stop that. I am a wave surfer. I surf those waves. I don't push back against that shit. When I recognize and identify that this person lives on Pluto, I just navigate that with a smile. You see me walk in the park, you see me going, what you need to do sometime as a man is just sit down. Go to like a boardwalk or something like that. Grab yourself a nice smoothie. Sit down, let the wind blow. Well, I can't say let it blow through my hair because I ain't got no damn hair. Anyhow, and just watch people for a second. Watch the waves, enjoy yourself. And just observe their behavior and their movements. And you can tell by certain things about characteristics about them, how they move and whatever else. Not that you can tell exactly what they're thinking, but you discover, especially with Gen Xers and whatever else, that everybody moves on a certain plane or ideology or belief system, an indoctrinated belief system of who they are and what they're about. And you, in your mindset, has your own ideology itself. You're not changing or convincing anybody of anything. And that's why when I see these guys that are out here trying to save women and rescue certain women, or think you're going to get some woman to conform to the life you want her to live with you, hell, if she not what you want today, walk. Because you know why? She's not getting on your program long term, in the distance. See, everybody talks about these temporary things. I'm talking about the distance. Sooner or later, that ideology is going to go back or reset back to what she wants and believes. She may agree with you if she's having certain economic problems, or maybe that honeymoon phase of emotions and deep love, or whatever else, or whatever euphoria is in the air. But over the course of time, that individual is going to return back to their baseline, their default. Whatever their ideology is, whatever they were raised to believe, or socialized to believe in, is what they're going to turn back to. That's their baseline. That's who they are. You know they saying, when you get comfortable, it's like when you're alone. You're truly who you are when you're alone. Like a peaceful life right now is this beautiful park alone. But me, I don't give a rat's ass, so this is who I am 24/7. Because what are they going to do to me? Fire me at my job? I don't have a job. Well, YouTube is my job. I'm retired. So this is who I am. All day, every day. And if you met me in person, this is who I am all day, every day. Because there's no performative behavior from me. Because I don't give a rat's ass. So what's the point of what I have to lose? What are they going to do? Cancel me on YouTube? I don't give a rat's ass about that shit. In fact, if they cancel me on YouTube, I got more time to spend doing the things I want to do. So I have no reason to sell bullshit. Because that's why I don't have any dating courses or any of that goofy ass stupid shit that's based on a 1986 formula that's going to send you out here and get cooked from somebody who lived on delusion, mental illness. That's who you want to install in your life? Huh? Some guy who's 1987, this shit in a time period where social media wasn't here and delusional crack wasn't flowing through the streams of the individuals, and they weren't living into this. Have a conversation. Sit down, have a conversation, and you'll find out how out of touch with reality many individuals are. But especially women, modern women, old women like me, at my age, young women, no matter. Delusion, and it's going on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, constantly being fed fantasy in a world where we've really created an environment for women, obviously because women spend money, where they feed women's head with fantasy, where men have civilized the world so much that, people are not dealing with, people create things when the world gets so soft. They create all these ideas and mindsets and mentality. But that's who you're dealing with. Somebody who doesn't live in the real world in terms of real accountability, real consequences for their actions and their behavior, because we live in a system that bails that person out or coddles that person or whatever else, and they don't get real consequences, so they don't have to live in reality. And there's always a sucker at the end of the rainbow, especially these jellyback simps that believe, that have these fantasies in their own mind. But getting back on topic, you're not changing any of that shit, because the only thing you can control is the man in the mirror. And stop living this fantasy of the past is not going to come. That shit is gone, man. That's gone. Get out of your head. Liberate yourself and your mind, and you'll find peace. Take people for what they are. Control the things that you control. And the other thing I want to talk about is this idea of respect. First, self-respect is the most important type of respect for men. And I hear men talk about love. Don't get me wrong. I want love. Love is love. I love love. But I love respect 1,000 times more, because respect determines how you're treated. You see? Even if, let's say, for instance, for a woman may not find you attractive. She may not be all hot and bothered about you, but if she respects you, she won't talk to you a certain type of way. She won't do it. She may not avoid or not want to be in a relationship with you or whatever else. Or you can have a woman that, from some men, they might love them and not respect them. And that guy is going to get torched. We see it all the time with the guys who get with women who get with them, at the end of the rainbow. Maybe they're 30 years old, 30 bodies in, after being vigorously and viciously pounded the guy she wouldn't date when she was 21 years old. And he thinks he's so stupid, he thinks he won the lottery. But he was just, the better end of a business deal, the last pick of the draft. Because marriage today is the last stop on the sexual liberation highway. And then that guy thinks that he's won the lottery. But he don't understand that he's took the L. He took the massive L. And, he don't understand the price he's about to pay. Because nothing, maybe the honeymoon phase and all her friends have rationalized to her that, he's got money, he's got a good pension, he's got a good benefit program. You cannot trick nature. That woman look at you every day. You go to the bathroom and you take a shower and she sees your undesirable love handles and she's used to that dude that's, look a certain way that makes her wet naturally. And over time, she's like, you're on some sex rationals. She's rationing you some pre-owned, maybe, once every, what is it? Once every month or so when she's like, oh, God, I guess this guy pays a lot of bills. I got to give him some sex. And now, because you're the last pick of the draft, that's why. And a lot of guys get in that situation. They think they won. Or you see some guy, you see him with a chick. You say, you don't realize what he's going through. That dude's on a treadmill of happiness, running his ass off because he has to perform every day. Because you know why? He's not enough. So for her to compensate her for the fact that she has to be with his ass, he has to keep doing shit. As opposed to a woman who is naturally attracted to a man, she wants to be there with him regardless of what. That dude, you don't see the bullshit. You don't see how much ass that dude is kissing. You talk about these jellyback simps, you have no idea how much ass that dude's kissing every freaking day. His opinion is her opinion. And he may say, well, I'm a leader. Let me tell you something about leadership. If a woman only goes along with what she agrees with, that's not leadership. It's safe. She say, I like a man who picks a restaurant. You pick a restaurant. She wants to make you feel like you're a leader. And as soon as you pick that restaurant, say, oh, no, we can't eat there. I don't like it there. And then you suggest 5 other restaurants. And she said, oh, well, that one sounds good. Who's really leading? You're not leading. She's leading. She's making you believe you're leading. And them jellyback simps that pay all these bills and whatever else. And even some of these guys that talk all this stuff. When I talk about a man putting himself in a good financial position, it's because for him in his life so he can enjoy early retirement like my ass. Not to get better women. No. You're crazy. If you're going to go through all that shit in life and suffering, and all your reward is at the end of the rainbow, is some 30-year-old where you're a guy number 35, that's not winning, that's losing. Yeah. See, I get off topic. Sorry, gentlemen. The rants in the morning. Yeah, I get them. How's that winning? How's that winning? You got to do all that shit to get something that's worth $50 that 20 other guys have got before you? And that's what these dudes think. Well, you know what? Level up for better access to women. You're a 30th place goofy. That's not better. Level up to say no. Level up to have choices in life for you and your quality of life. That's a whole different story. But the past is gone in terms of for both men and women. And it's the adaptation that determines men's quality of life. And that's why I talk about purpose and passions and hobbies and having a life that is not centered around women. Don't get me wrong. Enjoy the women. I love the ladies because I understand them. I understand them. And yes, I can understand them and love them at the same time because they're attached to pre-owned. And men, we all want pre-owned. Stop lying. We all love it. We enjoy it. And we playing games with ourselves. Nature drives us. Our hormones drives us to be around women, to enjoy women. But you can still enjoy women and head out the back door or leave the car running in the driveway. It's not an all or none proposition. You can still enjoy women from across town. Just leave when they get out of hand, that's all. Just leave, damn it. And go find something else to do. Have your purpose, your hobbies, your passion, and just leave. If you can leave. And that's why I don't know if I could ever live with women again. I can love them from across town. It ain't about, promiscuity or anything like that. I just gotta, living with them 24/7, that's rough. Even sometimes I come out of the weekend, I spend a weekend with women, I'm burnt out. I got to get back to the park and, working on a car or doing something else. It's a creature that runs on feelings. Understand that. And relationships today are, it's like a revolving door. You have great divorces. You have got women coming in and out of men's lives. Man, look, you can only control yourself. Women come, women go. In fact, calculate in your mind that the woman next to you that you enjoy and she's going to leave you one day. Play it out in your mind. I want you to play it out in your mind that this woman, runs off with some guy at the job. And you take your ass around the corner and get yourself another woman. Play it out in your mind. Just play it out in your mind and get that shit off your table so you can enjoy her company and move on with your life. A woman leaving you in this era of life should not destroy you. The women leave. They got a bunch of, even the women you have right now, she probably got a whole bunch of dude at the job trying to pound, dude on social media trying to pound her, dude from her past trying to pound her. So play it out in your mind. All them dudes pounded her. Now what are you going to do? You going to take a bridge or you're going to go out like a bitch ass for a woman when there's thousands of women running around? And pre-owned is probably the equivalent of a Chris 50. Huh? Accept the punishment and get over it. Life is a long process. Enjoy life. You got to adapt to the world we're living in. They don't have any loyalty to themselves. Shit, they can't even trust themselves. Shoot, look at how they can't even trust each other. They sabotage each other all day long. You got to study and learn female nature. It's a creature that focuses on survival and self-preservation. Shit, they're more business-minded than men many times. It's about survival. Watch the Chinese women. Go watch the Shindu province marriage market over there. They're pragmatic as hell. They ain't talking about no love. I don't know where these men get into this love shit. It's about respect if you're a man. A peaceful life is about respect and performance. Man, them Chinese women be like, well, what do you got? Car, house. How much money you gonna pay in dowry or whatever the hell? You have house, car, but I'm like, this is a business transaction. I'm like, damn. It's cold-blooded down there in that marriage market down there. They ain't talking about no love and no romance. They're matching up and aligning finances and, and resources and shit. Respect is what you want. Respect determines how you're treated as a man. Period. And when respect is gone, her ass needs to be gone. And you need to be going somewhere else along your pathway in life. Because you're not going to change a damn thing. And you have to be able to, as a man, to overcome shit fast. Because nobody gives a rat's ass about you. Man, you could be working right now all your day. Whatever you do, come home and some dude got your wife folded up, pounding the crap out of her. And you go into a psychological breakdown and trauma. You think anybody gonna give a rat's ass about you? Nobody gives a rat's ass about you. For dudes gonna be laughing. You should have been slinging that meat the right way and that wouldn't have happened. Or women gonna be like, what did you do? You must have been an abusive man. You neglected her. And either way. So you got to get to the point where you like a level of stoicism on whatever else. You'd be like, hey, dude, can you finish that chick up real quick and get it so I can get up? Like, can you pack her shit with that dude? Pack her shit with him and say, yo, no. You pound, you keep. You pound, you keep. That's your bitch now. Well, she's community bitch now. That's your chick. You pounded her. She ain't mine no more. She belongs to the village. But you taking her with you tonight. Hell yeah, you taking her with you tonight. You pound, you keep. That is your woman now. In fact, she's for the community. Shit. Share with a couple of your other friends because she's useless now to me. That's how you got to think like a man. Because you have to develop that type of bark you got to have that antifreeze going through your brain or through your bloodstream nowadays as a man. You can't. You got to adapt to the environment that you're in. You got to be that way. And so I'm sorry. It's just the way the world is right now. You prepare yourself for the worst and then you hope for the best. And you just keep moving with your life and enjoy your life. And that's why you keep your stress level down low. You keep your low stress level. You keep your stress level low. You keep your cortisol level low. Where you try, and because I've seen it now, even with my age, a lot of guys, even when I retired from a certain profession I used to work, man, some of them dudes ain't living on this earth no more. They burnt out, stressed out. Nobody gives a rat's ass about that. No one cares. Your pain, your suffering, your mental anguish. And dudes just burn themselves out. Because it's their perspective on life and how they think. Their own brain wore them down and destroyed them. So, with that being said, damn, it looks like it's going to rain. About to hit my walk. Gentlemen, I'm trying to do some adjustments to my diet here. You know that. Got to make sure that shit is tight, but you know how that is. We all have our struggles in life. Mine is the bakery section at ShopRite. You see? See, that's my problem. That's my damn problem. A woman? Not even my problem. Some oatmeal raisin cookies, some zucchini bread, and some apple pie. And that's some shit I gotta walk away. I can walk away from it. Maybe once a week. It gets me. That's my struggle. Women? Hell no. I don't give a rat's ass. Let them wild horses run free. I'll stay out the bakery section. I don't want no blood sugar to be spiked or whatever else. That's what a peaceful life struggles with. Not no damn women. I avoid it. Shoot, I'd be riding past a Krispy Kreme on the highway and I speed up. I speed up in this truck. I'll be like, hell no, you ain't taking me in there. I'll be like, shh. I can see a woman with a nice body. I walk past her all day long. I'll be driving by that Krispy Kreme like this. Hell no, I gotta go. I can't be eating that shit. That's real struggle right there. Women? That's like hemorrhoids to me. Look, it wasn't for our love for pre-owned, we probably wouldn't even bother them, to be honest with you, the way they are today. I don't think we're going to be bothered. If it wasn't for pre-owned, I don't think we'd be bothering them the way they are today, because a lot of women, not all of them, you women that are not like that are just purely insufferable. When you're horny and you're hot and bothered, it sounds good. Like, whatever, let me just spend some time with her. But after you spend a day or two, your brain starts hemorrhaging these shit. You be like, damn it, the juice ain't worth the squeeze. I got to get back to my peaceful life. Or you get like, oh, man. But that's because you were hot and bothered. Now you spend some time around her, and you see the price you have to pay for access. You're like, hell no. This is for the birds. But that's a whole nother story. Anyhow, gentlemen, have a good day. Let me go get my walk on, man. Peace and blessings to you guys. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.